Texas is hot, I can be cold. Grandma cried when I pierced my nose. Good in a glass, good on green, good when you're putting your hands all over me. I'm alright with a slow burn, taking my time, let the world turn. I'm gonna do it my way, it'll be alright. If we burn it down and it takes all night, it's a slow burn. Yeah. In Tennessee, the sun's going down, but in Beijing, they're heading out to work. You know the bar down the street don't close for an hour. We should take a walk and look at all the flowers. 'Cause I'm alright with a slow burn, taking my time, let the world turn. I'm gonna do it my way, it'll be alright. If we burn it down and it takes all night, it's a slow burn. Whatever feels good.
All right. Hi, everybody. So excited to have you all tonight. I am your host. I am Malika, and I am dialing in from Santa Barbara, California, just a small beach town, 100 miles north of Los Angeles. And I'm super excited to be your host for tonight. I'm so excited to have you all join me this Friday evening and take some time to dive a little bit deeper into your journaling and your mindfulness journey. So just to reiterate, I'm Malika, and I have been a Silk and Sonder subscriber since January of 2018. So I am a longtime subscriber, and I have loved the journals, and I've definitely learned a couple tips and tricks along the way, and it's really exciting to kind of share tonight the journaling experience with all of you tonight, and just want to kind of level set with everybody. Make sure to set your chat to everyone. I already see a bunch of people typing in the chat. Yes, I am from Santa Barbara. Yeah, it's so exciting to see everyone dialing in from all over the country. We truly have a bunch of people all over. So this is such a fun group. I'm so excited to be here tonight with all of you. And just to let you all know, you're automatically entered into the self-care gift raffle just by showing up here tonight. So look out on Sonder Club to see who the announced winner will be. But with that, let's dive into the theme for tonight. All right, patience. So this month's theme of patience really made me take it took me a while to kind of think about how I incorporate patience into my everyday life. I think oftentimes we get, especially as adults, we get kind of caught up in, putting a lot of pressure on ourselves and, our goals, whether they be personal or career or anything, really. It's it's very difficult to kind of prioritize our personal goals or professional goals with patients in mind. And I think this month's theme really helped me kind of take a step back, think about how I can incorporate patients to help me level set my own path and make sure that I am taking some time to carve out my goals and it doesn't have to happen instantaneously. So we can kind of go into that as we dive in with some of the journaling activities for tonight. And also another thing, clearly I am not wearing regular clothes. I have an Indian wedding to go to right after this, which is why I'm dressed very differently. So that's why I'm wearing this, but we're getting extra fancy over here at Sonder Social tonight. So with that, let's dive into the agenda. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. You're really, really sweet. I'm looking at the chat and seeing all the beautiful words you have. But for the agenda today, we will kick off with a patient's activity. That's not going to be in your journals tonight, but what we can do is grab a piece of paper and a pen nearby. Either you can scribble in your like blank page in your Slick and Sonder notebook or any other scrap piece of paper. We'll start with that. And then we'll turn to our Slick and Sonders to do a series of journaling activities together. And then finally, we'll close the Sonder Social and lead you to the rest of your weekend. So with that, let's dive in. Okay, oops, there we go. All right, so for the patient's activity, we're gonna do something called the Through the Lens of Patience. So I found this quote that actually goes really well with our patient's activity for tonight. And it's by John Quincy Adams. And he said, patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. And I think how I interpreted this quote is, it really helped me reflect back on how I learned about patience in my childhood. And I think we're first introduced to this notion of patience as young children. And we're taught like, you have to be patient, you have to wait for things. And I think when I transitioned into an adult, I kind of struggled with relearning that concept of allowing myself to wait because we are in such a fast-paced world sometimes. And I think during the pandemic, there are things that really kind of helped me turn on my lens of patience. So something I can kind of, reflect on is a goal I had when I was a kid was, mastering the piano. I always wanted to play these really, really beautiful pieces. And I started at the age of 5, but obviously did not have that capability. And I really had to start from the fundamentals, right? I had to be patient with myself. I had to practice. I had to persevere, even though it was frustrating at times when you're trying to do hand-eye coordination, you're learning about chords, theory, music theory. You have to train your ear to understand the different techniques. And it required a lot of focus, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of patience. And this is kind of my favorite example of how I used patience from ages 5 to 18. And I stuck with it throughout my childhood until I graduated high school and was able to really play some incredible pieces along the way. And I look back on that journey of like how incredible the growth was, not necessarily the final destination of being able to pick up a piece that was really complicated and just learn it right away. It was the journey I got to experience to help get to that point that I really look fondly on. So for this patient's activity, I invite you all to maybe close your eyes and think about a problem or a goal in your life, either present or in your past. And think about when you encountered challenges with that goal. Was it with yourself or was it with others? and try to think about that time and reflect on that challenge with the lens of patience. Think about how, if you incorporated patience in dealing with that difficult situation or that challenging goal, describe how that helped. And then on the flip side, if you didn't, how might have incorporating patience change that outcome? So we'll take a couple minutes and go ahead and turn to a blank piece of paper and go ahead and start journaling. And I'll play some music and I'll be right back in like 5 minutes. All right. I can see people are typing in the chat. I really, really love reading through these. Some of them really, really struck a chord with me. I feel sending you all the love for those that have been going through some difficulties in their recent past. I think, I think that's kind of the beauty of looking at challenges in different ways. Allowing yourself to have that patience is really, really powerful. It's important to take that step back and really try to give yourself some time to go through those challenges and figure out how you can grow from those challenging times, truly. And I think Anne Marie, she mentioned she is learning how to be a single widow mom and giving herself some grace, and allowing mistakes to happen. I think that's a huge, huge thing with patients. Oftentimes we're so set on, making sure everything is right, but it's okay to make mistakes. That's part of life. That's what we're supposed to do as humans, right? And I think that's definitely a great way to look at that with the lens of patience. And then I saw Catherine mentioning how, it's really hard. She's working towards a professional qualification and, setting time to study and, making sure that she's balancing, waiting and settling. I know it's really hard to kind of set time for that, and being patient with yourself to allow yourself the time to really learn the material. Can definitely relate to that one. I'm working on a certification and it's been very, very difficult with my job right now. So can echo that, trying to be patient with myself and not put a time schedule on me, like a rough one. And, Angela mentioned how she's working on home improvements, and how it can be frustrating. It's definitely a process, right? Remodeling is never an easy thing. And just making sure that, what, it can be messy, but it's going to be okay at the end of the day. There's so many that I'm reading through. I love reading them though. I see a lot more coming in. Oh my gosh. Awesome. These are really, really great. I think just it's important to, look at negative situations through a lens of patience. Because oftentimes, it can be like small things, right? Like I think Maya mentioned, my challenge is traffic, dealing with traffic in my day. It's a minor inconvenience, or it can be the big things, right? So it's important to kind of take everything with the lens of patience and give yourself time and allow yourself to, be human. And all right. So that was the lens of patience. And the next activity that we're going to be doing is the journaling activity. So let's go ahead and turn to page 14 in our Slick and Sonder journals. And let me change the slide. All right. Okay. So once you're on page 14, find the box at the top of the page. So the prompt reads, when was the last time you had to wait in order to get what you wanted? What was it like to be in that space of waiting? So it can be that get what you wanted. At first, I struggled with this a little bit because I didn't know if it was a tangible item or was it, a goal or something else that you may have wanted. So it can be really up to you how you want to interpret this prompt, but try to reflect on kind of what that thing is. Like what is something that you really wanted, and try to think back about how you were able to exercise patience. So it can be, waiting to hear about a promotion or finishing a degree or traveling to a country on your bucket list. It really can be anything. So let's take some time and we will go ahead and spend some time journaling and we'll regroup. And then once you're done kind of writing it all down, go ahead and share with the chat and we'll all come back together. All right. I see the chat. There's so many amazing responses to the first journaling prompt. And I just wanted to kind of share and highlight some of the ones that I saw in the chat. I think, Cassandra mentioned how she was waiting for 2 weeks to adopt a kitty and finally was able to get her kitty home. So that's super exciting. And then I saw that Kayla was really longing for a change of environment and how it's been hard to be stuck in, your current situation and trying to find those right opportunities it can be testing. I think a lot of us can resonate with that. I think I definitely felt really, really stuck not too long ago, and it was really hard to kind of change up the environment. When everything felt like everything was on repeat for a long period of time. So I definitely relate to that one. And I think, I think Erin mentioned how she was waiting for a while for her promotion to start and had to wait to kind of get that going. So that's definitely can be challenging at times, just waiting. I think we can all agree that waiting is something that is not super fun sometimes, but it's just part of it puts things into perspective as to how much you really want that, how much you're longing for that personal goal, that tangible item, whatever that is. um that's definitely something that makes the waiting harder, but also makes when you achieve that a lot more sweeter because it took some time to get to that point. So thank you all for sharing in the chat. For the next journaling prompt, we'll go to the box right below. Let me just make sure the slide changes. Okay. So for the next journaling activity, it's the box right below on the same page. So this prompt is, what factors deplete your patience? What factors support your patience? So when you think about factors, I kind of define this as external factors. So thinking about, maybe external influences that may impact my patients. So an example that I wrote down for this prompt was factors that deplete my patience include, the sound of cars honking in traffic, super loud, aggressive music, being really, really hungry, and not having a moment to grab food, hot, humid temperatures when I'm outside and I have to wait in a long line. That definitely depletes my patience for sure, especially because I think my internal temperature raises really, really high, but that might be a personal problem. And then untidy spaces, it's so funny because when I was a kid, this used to never bother me. I was not the cleanest. And then I grew up and I said, no, I need tidy. So that definitely depletes my patience when things are untidy. And stress, obviously, that is a big cause of, depleting my patience for waiting. And then factors that support my patients that I wrote down were, calming music, the sounds of nature, or just being out in nature and observing all the trees and all the beautiful, like, flowers that are around me, anything that's just natural. I really enjoy that. And then with that, I think the fall crisp weather is something that definitely makes me feel like I have more time to be patient and being outside, and good sleep. I think that's also something that I not always can control, but has definitely probably impacts my patients the most. So those are some examples that I wrote down, but I already see so many people sharing in the chat. Amazing. But let's take a couple minutes to write it down and we'll regroup. Awesome. All right. I see a lot of amazing examples of factors that support and deplete patients. I see that, Kristen mentioned things that deplete her patients is a time pressure. Definitely kind of echoing mine, the being hungry. I definitely relate to that one. And then supporting is just kind of a nice cup of tea, someone to talk to. That's definitely a great supportive factor. I saw that Arwen mentioned some factors that deplete are overwhelming, overstimulation, distraction, sudden changes. And then support is spending some alone time, being present, a little bit more quiet surroundings. That's definitely something that I relate to. It's important to kind of have some of that downtime just to yourself. So that's something I definitely agree with. And I think my one of my favorites that deplete factors that deplete was Reverend Joy Ellen. Mansplaining. I completely agree with that. That is something that definitely depletes my patience. And being a woman, I definitely hear a lot of that in my life. So yeah, thank you all for sharing kind of all those factors. I'm seeing more coming in, interrupting. I think we all kind of agree with anybody who's just interrupting our thought pattern or stuff like that. That's really hard on our patients. So thank you all for sharing all of that. And Angela, I love what you said, taking time for yourself, Silk and Sonder and music. I agree. I think Silk and Sonder has increased my patience. A couple years ago, I probably would have never, in college, I would have never taken the time to, put some music on and journal. But, Silk and Sonder has taught me to live a different life. And I love that. So definitely echo that as well. All right. And then for the third journaling prompt, is still on page 14. Okay. And it is the box right below the one we just wrote in. And for this journaling activity, this one says, what actions can you take to prevent yourself from losing your patience? So in the one before this, we broke down kind of these external factors, right? But now think about what actions you take to prevent yourself from losing patience. So what's something that's kind of in your control that you think you can do to help kind of bring back patience in times of challenge or difficulty? So what reminders can we intentionally tell ourselves to slow down and give ourselves time to be patient? Something I wrote down for this one was, creative outlets for me. I think, I mentioned piano is a big part of my life, but also, going into the kitchen and cooking something up, or starting a new art project, or I recently got into embroidery, just anything that is a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more creative has always helped me kind of bring back patience into my life, and really enjoying my day. And then also like taking a walk outside in nature has truly helped me feel grounded and be patient. And definitely disconnecting from technology. I think with work from home, everything technology related is just affiliated with work. So for me, just spending some time to turn off technology has definitely helped me with my patients. So I will kind of I'll let people write in their journals for a couple minutes, and then we will regroup. right. This is incredible. I was reading through all of these and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to write this down. These are how I like exactly how I want, to take my own personal actions to invite patients. You all reminded me of extra things I could be doing. And it's really, really amazing to see all these kind of written out in the chat. I really like, exercising, walking alone, prioritizing time for yourself and hobbies, taking a mental health day at work, when stress is going bad, just, sometimes having a good cry resets it. Definitely agree with that. Sometimes you just got to cry it out. Closing your eyes and taking some deep breaths, listening to good music, getting more sleep, that definitely will help. And just oh my gosh, there's so many. And then I saw like someone said knitting, just really, really great ideas in the chat. Loved hearing kind of your actions that you all take. And I also like putting my aroma diffuser, that definitely helps me calm down when I'm a little impatient. Something about scents really, really helps me. Candles, essential oil diffusers, I'm a sucker for those. But loved all the ideas in the chat. And with that, we'll go to our final journaling activity for the evening. And it is oh, there we go, letter of gratitude. So on page 15, if you find the letter of gratitude, this is the prompt written above. So I invite you to close your eyes for this one while I read it out loud. Sometimes we aren't patient with ourselves. In fact, we can often be hardest on ourselves. We miss out on opportunities and hold ourselves back and let perfectionism get in the way from living our truest potential. Try to think of someone in your life who believed in you when you didn't even believe in yourself. Think about who they were. It could be someone from your childhood. It can be someone from your recent past. It can be someone from any point in time of your life. A time when you probably were struggling with yourself for a little bit. And maybe it was a teacher or a mentor. Maybe it was your neighbor. Maybe it was your family member. Maybe it was your best friend. Maybe it was a significant other. Maybe it was even a child. Once you think of that person, I invite you to open your eyes and write them a letter. We'll spend some time kind of writing them a letter, and then when you're ready, you're welcome to share if you feel comfortable, to tell us who that person was and how they believed in you and what that meant to you. And with that, we will all spend some time writing our letter of gratitude. right. Wow. This was clearly an emotional one to kind of really reflect on who that person was. And, I also love the other interpretation that I saw in the chat. You can write to your younger self as well. Your younger self could have your back, and I completely agree with that. I think that's a great way to rethink the prompt. And it's just really, really beautiful to hear all these wonderful stories about each and every one of your lives, like seeing how a lot of husbands were there supportive in times of strife and difficult situations, and having them be like your true partner in a lot of emotional situations. And I really, really was I was really drawn to what Anam said. Her high school boyfriend, who she got back together with 7 years ago when she was going through a really difficult time, when she was diagnosed with cancer. I think that is just, that's a really, really difficult situation. And having someone there to support you through that is really, really beautiful. Because that can not only take a physical toll, obviously, but an emotional toll. So that's really, really special. But it's just really, really beautiful. A lot of parents, I think, I definitely write a letter of gratitude to my parents. I think my parents were immigrant parents, and they really kind of struggled to kind of make sure that I had the best upbringing, but also they were going through, a transition period throughout. And it was definitely, there was a gap, but they really did everything and more that I could ever ask for. And they're still my best friends to this day. Yeah, and definitely went through a rough time during the pandemic emotionally, and personally, and they were definitely there for me. So I definitely wrote my letter of gratitude towards them. But it's really, really beautiful to read through all of these. And I hope that this kind of wraps up, your journaling for patients. I really, really enjoyed being here with all of you tonight. I think shout out to Maya, our rock star facilitator that was in the chat, kind of guiding everyone along. She is incredible, and she's actually going to be leading a Silk and Sonder Social next Tuesday. And if you're not signed up already, go ahead and sign up. There is a wait list probably, but sometimes we open it up for the wait list to join. So highly, highly recommend. We have another event on Sunday, and we have another event on Tuesday, which is Maya session. So definitely sign up for those. And thank you so much for attending tonight. If you haven't already, make sure to download the Silk and Sonder app. And you'll be navigate to Sonder Club, which is where we post. It's a forum for all of us to keep the conversation going, share kind of what you wrote down in your Silk and Sonder, and kind of share your setup experience, all of that. Go ahead and make sure to download the Silk and Sonder app to share. And one more thing is we have a survey for feedback. And we really, really look at all of that feedback to make sure that we're tailoring each of our Sonder Social events to best meet your needs. And a lot of changes we've done along the way have stemmed from those feedback surveys. So we really, really encourage you to share your experience with us. And we'll definitely keep all of your suggestions in mind as we go forward. So it will be sent, but if you want to just go ahead and fill that out right now, you can scan the QR code. But I think Maya also will drop that in the chat. And yeah, so make sure to sign up for those upcoming Sonder socials. There's going to be more next month. And can't wait to join you in the next Sonder social. I'm hosting a couple next month, so I can't wait to see many of you in my next one. So have a wonderful evening, and look forward to joining you on the next Sonder social. Bye, everybody.
See me in the morning with a smile on my face, 'cause even though it hurts, I'm always falling into place. And my people say they're proud because I never stopped my fate. Even though the road got rough, they never found me switching lanes. Energy, energy, got good energy. Let it be what's in front of me. All I need, this is all of me. Melodies, memories, that's the remedy. That's the remedy. That's the remedy. And that's the remedy. That's the remedy. This is what it feels like to fly. This is what it feels like to be alive. Energy, energy, got good energy. Let it be what's in front of me. All I need, this is all of me.